it's your girl Evie again. Welcome back to my channel, because Evie said so. I'm your host, Evie. On this channel, we cover Law and Order SVU and Law and Order Organized Crime. This is season 2, and this week's episode is called For a Few Leak More. Now, how did it start? We see Elliott in the diner again, waiting on Reggie to come. We saw the recap from last week. He talks to the girl. He gives her the book called The Count of Monte Cristo. He tells her about the book. She appreciates it. We cut to a barbershop that's closed, but in the back, there's a gambling ring, and we see Elliott in there playing poker with Reggie and some guys. Now, they're talking about the Marcy killers. They're talking about the gasoline tax, about cutting a deal with the gas people. They're calling it a daisy chain. This guy starts stuff with Elliott right off the bat. He asked a question, and he's getting on Elliott's nerves. He explains about the op that he got captured in. This guy is pissing me off. And Elliott, what we call him. Now, Elliott wins the bet. He has a flush, and this guy is pissed. So he thought he was going to win, but Elliott won. So back at the diner, Rita's not there. A new waitress is there. This stupid guy, Luca, the same guy that was giving him problems, doesn't like his eggs. Obviously, this new waitress has brought him a plate of eggs that's not the way he wanted. He wanted his eggs sunny side up. So he puts his hands on her. Eddie's getting into it. He's trying to distract this guy, Luca, from hurting this woman. So this guy tells Reggie to shut up, and because Reggie says, come on, man, you don't have to do that. And then he starts saying he don't trust Eddie or Elliott. So Eddie kicks this guy's butt because he's questioning his loyalty at this point. He busts him right in the face. So he finds out from Reggie he shouldn't have done that, because Luca, the guy that he just punched in the face, is the fiance of Grace, who is Costa's daughter. Like, uh-oh. So what happened? We see Slotmeyer giving everyone a new cell phone, per Malachi, who is handcuffed to the desk because he's been flipping for them. Sergeant Bell, Sergeant Brewster start talking about the phones being encrypted. They hold the encryption key now. So basically what it is that now they have encrypted these phones, and they want these phones to be distributed among all the criminal families. These phones will be able to, for them, they'll be able to see all their texts, all their messages, all their emails, all their conversations will go to a private server where they can use this information against them. The problem is, how do they distribute it to them without them knowing that it's them? So Slotmeyer comes up with an idea. Take the guy down, per Malachi's rolling information, the information they got from him. Take the guy down that's been distributing the cell phones that they use that are already encrypted. So if you take him down, Malachi can take his place. So they're going to distribute it like that because they're going to make Malachi the sole distributor. So cut to Eddie being talked to, and Costa wants to see him because Reggie says, look, Costa wants to see you. I told you shouldn't have done this. So anyway, so now Elliott's worried because he has to go talk to Costa. So he goes back, he tells Sergeant Bell, and he says, I'm going to do it. And she says, I don't want you to do it. Sergeant Brewster says, you shouldn't do it. You're going to die. And he says, but I got to do it or the op is over. So she tells him, be careful. So she's worried that Costa's going to kill him, but he has to go. So who did it? He goes home, Elliott, Eddie, to talk to his son at their apartment. He wants to see him before he leaves for this op. So I guess he's trying to wrap things up just in case. So he hugs him really, really tightly. Eli knows that something, Eli knows something is up, with his dad, but he doesn't say anything, just in case, So Elliott takes off his watch in the mirror. He looks at his shield, and I can tell he's nervous. So he calls Liv, and he thanks her for being there for him and the kids. And then he says, when I was talking about I loved you, and then the dang old message cut off. Okay, come on. A message goes, if you're satisfied with your message, press 1. I was waiting for him to say something. So he calls back to leave another message, but then he just doesn't. He needs to tell her already. I want to know. Don't you want to know? A girl wants to know. So he goes to the meeting, and he's being taught, tell for his safety. Sergeant Bell, Sergeant Brewster are telling him they want to make sure that he's safe. So Albie tells him to go into the office. He goes into the office. They close the door. Costa's there. And they say an Albanian saying. Costa says he's been generous with him and he welcomed him. And this is how you repay me? Well, Eddie says, well, he questioned my loyalty. All I got is my rep. And he ain't going to take it from me. I had to. So Costa considers it. And then he takes out a gun and puts it on the table. Well, cut to Bell and Brewster. They're waiting in the car. Now, Eddie/Elliott is told by Costa he's not one of them. He's never going to be one of them. He's not an Albanian. And that he don't care if Reggie vouches for him. But he does care if Albie vouches for him. He said he's going to look the other way. Now, he tells Luca to shut up about it because Luca's pissed at this point. He wants some justice. He tells Eddie, you better not do it again, but come on, take a walk with me. So now they're in the car, Sergeant Bell and Sergeant Brewster, and when they see him walk out alive, they're like, whew, oh my gosh, whoo, I didn't think he's gonna make it. So Costa says he don't like Luca, but his daughter loves Luca, so he has to put up with him. He says Eddie has to make it right. He takes him inside. Well, he talks to him while he walks with him, and he says he's going to be in touch with him later with the details. So cut to Amir, the guy that's the distributor of these encrypted cell phones, being taken down for his violation of federal standards. Slootmeyer takes him down. This is her part of the plan to get these new phones into the hands of the criminals so they can track and record all their dealings. Malachi's ready to do his job as he's the new guy that's going to distribute all these other phones to these criminal, organizations. Why Eddie was spared. So Eddie and Albie are in the diner, and Eddie thanks Albie for standing up for him to Costa. He vouched for him to Costa, and that saved his life. Lipstick. Anyway, he tells Eddie about the job Costa wants them to do. Now, he says there's a boxer named Sula who is on the undercard, and people are actually betting on this guy in the excess of $500,000. Now, he tells Costa, when he comes to meet with Costa, this boxer guy, Sula, that people want him to take a dive. And Costa says, and you're going to, and you're going to like it. And of course, he's disappointed, but he ain't finna argue with Costa. So that way, Costa will win all the money and not the guys that are betting on this guy, because this guy is good. He can easily win this fight, but they want him to take a dive. They want Eddie to collect Costa's money and then rob the place. So Sergeant Brewster doesn't want him to go. It's dangerous, but he says he's going to go anyway. So she says, okay, go through it. Be careful. Elliott says, okay. So how does it end? Albie says to not use the phones that they got because he sees on the broadcast on the TV that this guy Amir has been taken down by Slootmeyer, and that's part of the plan. Her plan is to get this guy out and get Malachi in. He seems to like her, this Malachi guy. Now Hugo needs new phones. Lots of organizations need new phones, and he's in the car. And he's telling the undercover girl, Carmen, her name is Carmen, but we know her as, I'll put it in the description, sorry, I can't think of it right now. But all these organizations think they need new phones, and they do, because these other ones are trash. So 3 of the best criminal families in the city have now contacted Malachi saying they need new phones. Well, we see Miss Bruska again, and she's watching Elliott fight over in the gym. She walks over to him in the locker room and she gives him her panties. No. Okay, anyway, she nasty. But she really wants Eddie, it seems. So Reggie talks to Eddie about the job. He tells them what they're going to do. We see Eddie at Albie's house, and Flutura and him are now drinking. So she seems to really like Eddie, and Eddie's playing his part. Elliott's playing his part. He wants to get information. He wants to go through this house, but he better stop messing with her because he's going to die. He talks to her and she asks, were you married? Do you have any kids? He says, no, I didn't want to disappoint anybody. And she says, well, I couldn't have kids either because Albie's sperm count is low and I had to tell everybody I was infertile just to protect his rep. Now he slips her some medicine in her drinks when she goes to answer her cell phone. and she drinks it down, and then she kisses him, and he kisses her back, and then she passes out. He puts her on the couch, he puts a blanket over her, he goes to work. He starts going through the house, and he finds in her closet a locked black suitcase box. In this box, it has passports for all the girls that are working at the diner, it seems. So what are they doing? I mean, she has all these girls' passports. They can't even leave the country without her knowledge because she has their passports. So she's running some kind of scam, I guess. So he hears a car alarm beep, and then he sneaks out the side door of the house just before Albie comes in the front door, and just in time, because Flatura told him he wasn't going to be back for a while. Well, Eddie goes to the van to get ready for the op. Sergeant Brewster and Bell are all set, and they have an undercover inside the bar that they're going to rob too, right? So we see Elliott in the van, all of them about to roll up. They're busting in there, they're robbing the place, but a lady outside sees them roll up deep like that, and she calls the cops. Well, that's not in the plan. They didn't think somebody would see. So they rob the place, they take the money, the cops are on the way. So they know the cops are coming, so it's a time thing now. They got to get out of there. So Reggie and this guy are arguing because he's like, you don't know who I am. And Reggie says, I do know who you are. And he takes his mask off and shows himself to this guy like it doesn't matter. You see who I am? You see who's doing this to you? What are you going to do about it? So Sergeant Bell sees the cop car coming. They're going to run out of time. So she crashes her car into the cop's car. So when Elliott gets ready to leave, one of the guys that they're robbing pulls a gun on him, and he has to shoot him. He doesn't kill him, but he does put him in the hospital. And he had to. He had no other choice. So Eddie goes out and he sees that Bell helped him out, which is Elliott. And then Sergeant Brewster tells them that Stabler was the shooter of this guy. Well, they jump out of the van, and Elliott is clearly mad. They tell Eddie/Elliott to take the van and get rid of it, okay? They taped it. Luckily, Maldonado was the undercover that was in the bar and taped everything. So Elliott's in the clear about the shooting, it seems, right now. Now, he sent the pictures from Flatura's house that he took at her home, and Sergeant Bell talks about adding new charges of trafficking. She thinks they need to bring the SVU in on this. I think so too. We see Eddie next sleeping in his camper with his gun, and out steps Mrs. Brewster from Albie's car. She wants to talk to Eddie. She came by to thank him for being a gentleman. Now he's working her. He's being forward to see if she'll leave, I guess. He's kissing her for real now, and she's enjoying it way too much. She's too excited. He takes her into the van, and they start kissing, getting passionate. He takes off his shirt. Cut to black. Comment time. Do you think Eddie will go through with the deed? Do you think Eddie's in too deep? Still, do you think Costa trusts him because he told Eddie he's not an Albanian, he'll never be? What do you think of this episode in general? I give it 4.5 stars, like I said, because, or maybe I didn't say. I give it 4.5 stars because he was kissing somebody he shouldn't have been kissing. He should have been kissing Olivia. Anyway, so please leave some comments. You know a girl wants to know. Comment below. If you like this content and you want to see more of it, please consider subscribing to this channel. And please give me a like because it'll make me happy. And I would sure appreciate it. I cover Law and Order SVU and Law and Order Organized Crime. And I know that they're going to release the new revised Law and Order itself, season 21, after 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to cover that yet, but we'll see. I want you guys to Law and Order on. You know that I love you. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.